Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently at peace and we're working on getting all of our modernization finished up. We don't have any research to do. Get out of here. Okay, so we do also still need to make our aircraft carrier. Now we know that was going to be like, I think it was like 50 or 60 experience, something like that. So we should definitely give it a few days before we are ready to design our aircraft carrier. But that'll be absolutely fine. We have begun cranking out. Okay, yep, we should not have the construction tab open. We are going to be, or we have begun cranking out a fair number of airplanes as well. Well, actually not even so much a fair number of airplanes, so much as it is a fair, not even quantity. I was going to say quantity. No, a fair variety of airplanes. To be honest, I think that we should probably drop some of these factories. We only have 9 aluminum here anyway. So we should drop this down to about 10 factories. We've got 22,000 of these stored. So we don't need to have that there. I'm going to throw 10 at the modern large airframe, 10 at the modern close air support airframe. Ooh, okay. I don't like that. Yep, I definitely don't like that. We need to have some aluminum going down here, right? So that is reasonably fine. I think one thing we could consider doing is getting some more support equipment, as well as some additional infantry equipment, something along the lines of that. I'm just trying to put this elsewhere, right? I'm trying to put these factories elsewhere. So that'll do for the time being. And we'll just run something along the lines of this, although we still need to drop our number of modern large airframes to about here. Yes. Something about like this. So that'll do for now, and that'll be absolutely fine. We have all of our military factories being utilized, and we'll even have a little bit allocated for additional airframes. So that'll be okay. Now, we're not really too concerned about these modern tank chassis. We are low on chromium, but currently that is the only thing we are actually low on. So that looks good. We'd like to get more chromium, of course, but for the moment, this is okay. Now, the world tension is down to 96.7%. 96.6%? Okay, our world tension is. And I'm not sure what the actual world tension is at. This is a rounded number. It's saying 97%. It's probably... Well, let's see if it changes here. It does not. Okay. So we're not responsible for all of this. Yeah, there have been a little bit other than us, but we're definitely responsible for the vast majority of it. So that is absolutely fine. We'll put these guys in here. That seems okay. No problem whatsoever there for now. And we're just waiting at this point until we have a little bit more naval experience, because I want to get started on that aircraft carrier as soon as possible. So let's hop into our production and let's build ships. This is going to be the 1944 carrier hull. We're probably not going to have enough naval experience, but I'm going to keep ticking while we're doing this. And this, we're going to prioritize this for hangar space. We don't need this thing to defend itself. It's going to be deployed in a grouping, right? So that's absolutely fine. At this point, of course, we want additional hangar space. There we go. And now this is an anti-air slot, so we'll put that in there. As far as radar goes, we'll go radar 4, and for the engine, carrier engine 4. For a secondary, we're going to go for a dual-purpose secondary battery 4. And then for the armor slot, we'll do cruiser armor 4. So this is going to cost us 53 to save. We almost have that. Beautiful. We'll have that in like one day. Yes. So we're good on that front. So we've managed to save that. That's fantastic. We can now get our carrier underway. Now, we're going to need to toss some shipyards at it. How many spare shipyards do we have? Well, we've got 6 spare shipyards. I'm going to put this carrier hull here. And the question is, how do we want to get additional shipyards utilized? We can have 6. I'm thinking getting a second line of heavy ship hulls going, but then we'll still have 1 available. So that is a concern. We could throw that into an additional line of carriers, I suppose. So we could do a carrier hull and then a heavy ship hull, something like this. Placing these about here, and then just divide it in half between the two, something along the lines of that. This is going to be very slow to build. And then additional shipyards can be put in here if they end up finishing up. So something along the lines of that. Now, we've got this armored division. That needs to go in here. Fantastic. And now that we have that completed, we do have maximum army experience right now. That is noted. We can start to think about maybe going to war again, but we do have a lot of construction to do, right? No doubt about that. There is a lot of construction to do, and I kind of don't expect anything particularly interesting to happen between now and us going to war. At this point, the democracies cannot declare war on us. The question is, do we want to declare on someone like the French Commune next? They would be probably the second or third most powerful. I'm not sure if Britain would be more powerful than them or not. The US would probably be the most powerful at this stage, depending on what path they've taken and how they've developed, I suppose. So that is definitely noted. And we are going to go after them. But if we can carve up the great powers and deal with them independently, that would be absolutely huge. So we could start working on that. A justification on the French Commune would take a while, most likely. Only 55 days. The question is, when would we want to do this? Are we better off doing this now or significantly in the future? If it's significantly in the future, we'll have the ability to deal with a lot of... Oh, these 3 infantry divisions? Are these ours? They are ours. Okay. They're going to go in here. That's fine. If this is significantly in the future, then we have a few benefits. The benefits are that our garrison forces, this reserve theater here, is going to be significantly stronger. We'll have a fair amount more nukes and the strategic bombers to use them. We'll have built up our forces. We're building... Oh boy. Okay, we should not be in there. We're going to be building up our navy here, and I would like to start, like, retiring some of our old naval ships, but we definitely need to get a fair amount of time for these to replace them, right? No doubt about that. That's going to take some time. Similarly, we would like to build up a decent amount of these airplanes. We would also be able to get constructions complete. This is going to be laggy, but I'm going to open it regardless. We can work on constructions here, and this is going to get done with a lot of infrastructure. It's going to get done with these civilian factories, and it's also going to upgrade all of our railways. If we can get down here, there were some naval bases there as well. If we come all the way down here, coastal forts and land forts, and that's just going to put us in a much, much better position. That said, that queue is exceptionally long right now, and I don't think we want to wait that long. Now, one thing that we can start doing is inviting people to the factions. So this is probably not a bad thing. We can invite this guy to join our faction. This will change world tension by a little bit. That's okay. World tension is going down by more than that, like, daily. So that's okay. These guys have joined our faction. We're going to call these guys into our faction. That'll also go up. Oh, that's Portugal. Fascinating. So Portugal is now under our faction. So we probably call to arms from Nassau. Okay. We will honor this for sure, I think. Versus Radical Nassau? Who all is in this? We're going to honor that. But who all is in that? That's an interesting question. But first, we can come in here and remove the land forts here. So I want to shift right click to remove all of these land forts along the Portuguese border. They are not necessary because Portugal is now in our faction. So that is great. Now we are technically at war here, and let's see what this war... Oh. This war is irrelevant. Okay, so where is this? No, seriously, where is this? Where is Nassau? Can we, like, right-click their flag to go to them? No? Apparently we can't go to their capital like that. Okay, so they're a member of Carpetania, but where? Is Nassau out over here? I can't remember. You know what? Let's just do it this way. I think this is a like, HRE location. Yes, it is. So how do we get there? This river I don't believe is navigable. They don't have a naval base here either. So we could potentially, like, paratroop in? I don't think we have any real way to get there. right? So it's awkward that all of these have the capital of Hesse. That is very awkward. Sure. But we have no real way to get here. For the time being, let's continue to invite people to our faction. And this is, yep, that'll be fine. They're going to ask us to join their war as well, almost certainly. And that's all the people we can invite to our faction. The ones that really mattered there was Portugal. And that means that we now control all of Iberia as part of Carpetania. So that is great. We can now see how large Carpetania is. It's doing pretty well. What is this over here? The Confederate Asian Nations. Fascinating. Okay, most people are, of course, unaligned. The question is, how are we going to go about doing this? Well, we could potentially send in paratroopers. We would have to train paratroopers. And we'd also have to set up a division template for paratroopers. It isn't very relevant, though. We just need something there, right? They don't have an airbase. Or actually, they do have an airbase. I don't think we... Can we just fly people in with transports to that airbase? We don't have any transports, but could we do that? Let's find out. So if we were to build an aircraft here, this would end up being a transport plane. And we would just move this up over here. And this is just a transport plane 1. We might actually want to create a new design for that. So this would be, this is currently a transport plane here. Nope, I did not want to do that. Get out of here. There we go. And I want to take a look at this variant. Okay, it's just a transport. Service manpower of 80. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just build this. That is fine. And I want to remove... I'm thinking about removing, like, 5 from each of these, right? So we take this down to 15, and then this down to 25. Something like that. And then we put this into transport planes. Like so. Now, where did those end up going? I think they ended up going up over here. That's reasonably fine, except now we're negative on steel. So we definitely don't want to be negative on steel. I'm going to move these back. Maybe a little bit further. Still -5. Okay, right around here. And now we have quite a lot of military factories that we can do something with. Well, we have a lot of rubber, we have a lot of tungsten. So we could potentially put that into, say, advanced... Well, that would be just steel in the advanced anti-air. We don't really need any of that, right? So that's reasonably fine. I think that we should put this into... We have 40 aluminum right now. I'm going to take this up to here. We're going to put 5 here. I'm going to put 5 here. That puts us at -5 total aluminum. Okay, so nothing else goes in here. We have 5 steel available. We don't really need anything else over here except maybe some additional medium flame tanks. We can do something like that. That gives us 1 additional unit of steel. So now we have something like 6 military factories to work with. We don't want to put it into anything that takes up steel. We don't want to take up chromium. We don't want to take up aluminum. So tungsten, rubber, both of these are relatively okay. We kind of don't have anything we want to put that into, though. So that's, you know, mildly problematic. We have a lot of rubber right now. We can put 1 here and 1 here. So that definitely puts us at -13 aluminum. That's probably okay. We still, however, have 4 military factories to put in. And where do we want to put them? Well, I would really prefer... Maybe if we back off on the support equipment, which will give us a little bit more aluminum to work with, and instead put this into, say, infantry equipment. That'll put us into the negative in steel, though, and I really don't want to be in the negative in steel at that point. Okay, so instead we could put it down in, like, the war austerity trains. That actually works. We've got plenty of them, but that would work. Okay, so something along the lines of that. Let's start producing some transport planes. We're getting 2.58 per week right now. Okay, so what I would like to do is I would like to take one of these units, and which one do we want it to be? Not even a tank unit, just an infantry unit is what I want, like this infantry unit. And we would like this to be transported. I have no idea how to do this. I don't think I've ever done this before, but I'd like to transport them to this airbase in Hesse. So for the time being, I want them to make their way. Let's see here. So this is a naval invasion order with floating harbor support. This is a naval invasion order. This is a paratroop order. Frontline, yeah. Division assignment mode, unassigned division, edit mode, yeah. So how exactly do we do this? Well, I'd like them to make their way to an airport, for sure. And we're going to need quite a lot of transport planes, aren't we? But why would transport planes exist if we can't do this? That's a question. They're currently located here. Okay, so we can move them back to the airbase in Kyiv. And I want them to forget about this order. Actually, it's this order. So all of these guys are going to be assigned... Okay, we can just forget about that order entirely. That's okay. These guys are going to make their way over to the airbase in Kyiv. So, come on over. There we go. So they're on their way. That is absolutely fine for the time being. This order is not probably all that relevant. So that seems okay. We have this unassigned division, which is going to go here. Now, we're going to need to wait on transports for a while, but I want to put in show only transport plane. Okay, so we only have one transport plane right now. That is understood. It's not surprising in the slightest. So I want these guys to transport it over. The question is, how many are we going to need for this? Okay, yeah, they've been called in. Portugal and the Ottoman Empire were also called in. We should be able to wrap this up very quickly if we can get troops there. That's the question, right? Like, they don't even have an army at all. So that looks good. Yes. Do this. And also do this. Everybody is joining us in this war, which is hilarious. And we have been embargoed by a capitalist revolt, also in the category of hilarious. So I want these guys to go over here, but there is no available land route to that province. The question is, what is the range of our transport aircraft, right? So taking a look at that, this transport wing has a very small range. Okay, so I would like to see about upgrading our transports. So this would end up being what airframe here? Can we actually change from transport plane 1? 1,000 kilometers is not very high. We cannot create a variant of this. We can create a variant of this, right? So that is definitely something that can be done, but I don't think we can actually modify this. So 1,000 kilometer range is not very significant. And is this only done with paratroopers? That's another question. Maybe. This is maybe something that can only be utilized with paratroopers. So we can air supply. But can we actually just transport these forces to an allied naval base? Well, we don't really have anywhere that is close enough. It might be close enough if we launched from an aircraft carrier out over here. Maybe. But that would be pretty much the only way. For the moment, of course, we don't have any aircraft carriers, so we're just kind of stuck, and we're not really able to do too much about this. Now, we could definitely consider getting ourselves a paratrooper division. We currently would have this, support anti-tank, and 4 paratroopers. This is probably good enough. We can train 1 division of this, and I only want to train 1 division. We can put it up over here for now, in Kursk. That'll be fine. We'll get that underway, and we'll have that ready if we can't transport troops to allied bases. I'm not sure if that works or not. We'll see if we can find some way to do that, but for now, I would like to get at least 1 small unit of paratroopers here. So that'll do for the time being. Now, I do want to consider doing a region-wide industrial integration, and that's in Western Hubei. Okay, so that seems fine. Doing that, we can queue up a construction there. And that'll probably end up being like a nuclear reactor. That's a fairly safe location for one. So we'll get that queued up as a top priority, and we'll get that done soon enough. Cool. So this war is, of course, not a particularly impactful one. But the question is, how long is it going to take these guys to train? 5 July? Okay, noted. An operative can be recruited, and I guess, sure, you'll do. We can just have him working on counter intel, that's fine. Speaking of which, we should continue to work on upgrading our intelligence agency. That will be absolutely okay as well. Now, I personally currently believe that these guys are not going to be capable of taking this air transport. How many do we have here right now? 21. Okay. So that is reasonably fine. I mean, the problem here, of course, is one of range, right? We can't actually transport to here. It's in the middle of absolutely everyone who hates us. We could maybe transport from here. That'd be closer, for sure. Let's move them up over here, but I don't expect that to be close enough. I'm going to move these guys up over here as well. It's going to take them a while to get there. Okay. So let's see what happens with these airplanes. So they've arrived here, and we can position here. We are just out of range. This is where we need to be. So we can absolutely get there, in theory, from an aircraft carrier. But other than that, we're just out of range there. Okay. What is the... Right. Okay. This is very awkward. Oh, wait. These guys are on the side of the others. Okay, so where is this? Right. Here. Okay. Well, what do we have in the area? Well, there's an airbase in Somaliland. But my question is, we've got Izak and Communist Izak, right? Who exactly is on our side here? Communist Izak. In that case, we should grab one of our marine divisions here and do a naval invasion order from Shorop over to Berbera. And we'll get that started. We should also pull our navy, or some of our navy, out of here, and they should make their way up over to here, as well as the Arabian Sea. So I'll grab this other unit here, and they're going to sit in the Arabian Sea. Okay, I want to remove them from the Bismarck Sea. And then, where's this other unit at? Okay, they are going up to the Red Sea. They're active in 2 regions. They should only be active in 1. What region are they active in? Okay, patrol right up over here. Now they're only active in 1 region. Cool. So that seems fine. I'm wondering about this other unit here, though. We might want to pull these guys up and have them head to the Arabian Sea. That'll be absolutely fine. So we'll be ready to launch that invasion relatively soon. 126 days to get that prepared, but we're going to have this done no problem. We can get there nice and easily. Yes, this is fine. Okay. We're not calling everybody in because we really don't need to, but for the time being, this will be absolutely okay. We can't really get in over here, but we absolutely can over this way, and we're going to launch that invasion as soon as we're prepared. Just go ahead and do that. And Izak will fall almost instantly. No doubt about that one. So we've got this armored division here, and that is going to make its way out over here. Beautiful. And these guys are still marching over, but unfortunately for us, we know that our transport planes aren't quite going to be able to reach. It's pretty close, no doubt about that. But we're not quite going to be able to reach from this Swedish port, or rather the Swedish airport. So that's okay. We don't really have anywhere else we can go from except, I mean, we could base them directly in Hesse. What would that do for us, though? Like, we can put transports here. Absolutely, we can do that. But then, can we paratroop them in here? Can we use these transports to move in from elsewhere? Well, none of this... Actually, the Western Balkans... Hang on. Hang on a moment. This is Austria? Okay. I was going to say, if this was Ottoman Empire, we could utilize that. But we can't. So that is okay. We have this division here, this set of divisions. They are going to go in here for now. That looks good. And this will just happen. I doubt that these guys have a navy at all, so that seems absolutely okay. We are at war right now, so the world tension is not going down. That is understood, but these are not particularly challenging wars, right? We're just consolidating some positions here. So that is absolutely fine. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to see if we can utilize these paratroopers. That would be absolutely great to mop up in Hesse. And down this direction, of course, in Izak, that's already dealt with. It's just a matter of time until everybody arrives here and we're ready to do this. So that'll be great. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.